It's time to wildcard. I've hit the button and I've got a midfield full of differentials. Welcome to the Gianni YouTube show. Hope you guys are well. You're looking forward to Game Week 6. I know a lot of you are on a Game Week 6 wildcard. I actually polled it on Twitter and around 50% of FPL managers, engaged ones on my X anyway, they look like they're using their Game Week 6 wildcard right here, right now. And there's so many reasons why. Jumping on Arsenal assets and Brentford assets, definitely, but also getting rid of Deadwood and making the most of some volatile price rises as well. So look, without further ado, shall we have a look at my 15-man squad? If you're enjoying the show so far, do hit that like button, but also subscribe to the channel. First up, let's start with the goalkeepers and work our way through. So an easy decision in goal. I've been waiting for the first month or so to bring this man in. It just feels so obvious. Spend the extra. The 4.5 million goalkeepers haven't really been delivering. Sanchez the last couple of weeks has had some big hauls, but Raya for me is such an easy pick if you can find that extra million. So at 5.5 million, David Raya, arguably the most informed keeper in the Premier League at the moment, but most importantly, he plays for the best defence. Now, when we look at last season's data, I got this from the Scout members area, Arsenal just smashed it. Like last season, they were top for goals conceded. They only conceded 29. They were top for expected goals conceded. They were top for clean sheets. That theme is going to continue this year. I'm absolutely sure of it. The first few game weeks, I think, have shown us that. So Raya in goal with Leicester and Southampton up next at home. Yes, please. Let's hit that with some clean sheets nice and early, shall we? I've also got Fabianski. The 4 million options are pretty thin. There's no 4 million starter out there. So this could be anyone. We'll look at my defence and we'll look at my midfield in just a sec. But before we do, shout out to OneFootball. I know many of you tell me you love the OneFootball app, but genuinely stop what you're doing right now. Get your phone out and download the OneFootball app. There's a link in the description. You will not regret it. It's the go-to for football news. Whether you're a Premier League fan, a Serie A fan, a Liga 1 fan, it's got it all. What I love most is you get the short video clips as well for your highlights packages if you haven't got time to watch a full game. That is great for scouting. Only last week, the EFL Cup, I was like, I need to see just the goals. I need 2-minute video. I knew it'd be there on OneFootball. So look, let's carry on, shall we, with that back line. Now, there's very few players in this wildcard team that are in my actual team. In fact, we'll go for it at the end. There's only 5. One of them is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Brilliant that in Game Week 5 he finally got his assist. He got bonus points. It was a big double-digit score for Trent, and that had been coming. Trent's an easy lock on wildcard. He ain't going anywhere. Like, such an easy pick for me. So we don't need to talk about Trent. He's in. Honestly, if he's not in your plans, I'd reconsider that. Gabriel is double Arsenal defence for me. He offers more goal threat, I think, than Saliba. He's 6 million. I wasn't always planning on double Arsenal defence in my wildcard, but when I look at that data from Scout that I just showed you, I'm like, just go for it, Gianni. That is so obvious, isn't it? So Gabriel is in alongside Raya. And then we've got some sort of defenders under 5 million. Now, what I've not done in this draft, I've not gone for a defender at 4 million because I could have a Greaves of Ipswich or a Fass of Leicester. I've gone to spend a little bit more and I'll just have rotation. So at the moment, I've got, let's put these 3 guys in. Pinnock, Lewis and Alex Moreno. Now, look, let's go through them one by one. Pinnock is 4.5 million. Brentford have got a great run of fixtures for the foreseeable. Starting off with West Ham and Wolves at home. Like, we like that as an entry point. I just need to do a bit more research on Brentford defence, and I'll bring you that later in the week. But Pinnock feels nailed, but at times they play a back 5 and at times they play a back 4. Now, when they play a back 5, Pinnock will play every game. When they play a back 4, we're still not absolutely clear who the first choice 2 centre-backs are. Ben Mee's been injured, but he's back fit, I think. They've also got Nathan Collins, Pinnock, and Van den Berg now, who they spent 25 million on. Now, Van den Berg's 4 million. If we think he's absolutely nailed, even in the back 4, he's the pick. If not, Pinnock at 4.5 feels like the most reliable. Collins is also 4.5. So this Pinnock could change to another Brentford defender. It could be Van den Berg to save me $500,000, but I just need to do a bit more research and speak to some Brentford fans. It's very difficult to split them at the moment. Because I've not gone for such a 4 million option, I can chance it with a Rico Lewis. I just think Rico Lewis, in the games where he'll play, feels like a gift at 4.7. Now, sure, you need to make sure your squad can cope with Pep Roulette. Now, rather than pick a 4 million option like Greaves, by having Rico Lewis, I know if he doesn't play, I can put a Pinnock in, fine. And then Alex Moreno's 4.4. I could go Aina at 4.5. They're the first choice fullbacks at Forest at the moment. This is just me saving 0.1. I think Aina's equally a good pick at 4.5. Let's see if that 0.1 is needed. At the moment, the team I'm showing you has, I've got like 0.4, 0.5 in the bank. So I don't have to go Moreno, but I think he could be a fun pick. Gets forward just like Aina. Remember, Nuno at Forest, it's all about the wing-backs. They're attacking at will. It's a back five, and we like that for our full-back options. If you're enjoying the show, do hit that like button. And thank you so much for subscribing. Loads of you have subscribed early season because you want to follow me throughout the year. I really hope you're going to enjoy the experience of following this channel. Like, it's pre-recorded videos all week, like a couple of vids a week. I also do lives on a Sunday morning and some Friday streams as well. So do check me out live and hit that notification bell if you want to know when I'm going live. I proper involve the chat, or at least I hope you agree. I massively do. You guys dictate the agenda. You really do. So look, the midfield. Saka. Saka's the reason why many will feel like they need to wildcard to go big on Arsenal. This is not a Salah team, it's a Saka team. And unfortunately, when players like Haaland and Trent exist, it's very difficult to have Haaland, Trent and Saka and Salah. Feels like one or the other. Now, Saka has Leicester and Southampton in the next two. It's really difficult to ignore that. Like, two prime home fixtures against newly promoted teams. And then after that, it's Bournemouth away. So it's a run of 3 good games. Now, sure, then it's tough fixtures. It's Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea. I don't think that matters too much. Like, Saka's been great, and then it gets good again. It's Forest and West Ham and Man United. So look, Arsenal, what I'm saying is, I think every wildcard team needs a double up. I think you can push it to a triple up. I have. Now, Saka also gives us captaincy options. Now, that's really important because Haaland, it's fine Newcastle away, but you could argue Leicester at home is the better fixture, so you could captain Saka, and I'll talk more about captaincy later in the week. He gives you a really nice alternative to Haaland because his fixtures are so good. Now let's go through the midfield. I said I've got a midfield full of differentials. Well, Saka feels a bit obvious, and Mbeumo feels a bit obvious, but the next 3 are proper punty. Certainly 2 of the 3 are. So look, Mbeumo is in. Again, a goal in game week 5. 4 goals this season, by the way. Only Luis Diaz has more in midfield. And Mbeumo's such an easy pick. Since when Tony's not been in the team, now Tony's obviously left, but even when Tony was around, Mbeumo was so much better without Tony. The numbers really back that up. He is on pens, he's a 90-minute man, he's their best player, and the fixtures are good, and Mbeumo's a lock. Like Trent, if you haven't got him in, reconsider. The 3 must-have players on wildcard, Trent and Mbeumo and obviously Haaland. Now let's go for a punt, shall we? I'll give you a clue, let's see if you can guess. He has only had 2 appearances so far this season. He has 2 assists. And he hasn't played more than an hour in each game. Any guesses? It's Jadon Sancho, ladies and gents. Now, you might be going, oh, typical Chelsea fans going, Sancho's looking really good. Now, he hasn't played many minutes because he's going to be eased in. But I think by game week 6, we could see 70, 80 minutes. And I think by game week 7, we could be seeing sort of sets of 90 even. Now, there will be mass rotation because Mudryk exists and Pedro Neto exists, and those guys can both play on the left as well. But he's first choice on that left-hand side. It was a really good performance against West Ham. He was player of the match in game week 4, remember, when he came on at half-time and got the assist for Nkunku against Bournemouth. Sancho's 6.3 million. He has pedigree. We've seen him. Goals and assists are his currency. And when he was at Dortmund, I know it's a long time ago now, certainly his first stint, huge amount of attacking involvement. At 6.3, I think it's worth the punt. And Chelsea 2 home games against Brighton and Forest up next. I think we can punt. On a wildcard, I'd like to have a couple of punts. He's certainly one of them. A bit more of an obvious pick next in Rodgers before we go to another differential. Rodgers, great. He got the 2 assists and bonus points in game week 5. That was absolutely due. Rodgers is an easy pick. The best budget mid for me. Even though players like Smith Rowe and Minter, they're great. Sharda could be a good punt at Brentford. Semenyo. But Rodgers is the best of the lot, and he's cheaper than most of the names I've just mentioned. McNeil is the other one, though. McNeil is in my Game Week Wildcard 6 team as things stand. Now, he's just over 5 million. He is playing number 10 for Sean Dyche. Look at this average position map, right? He's playing central. Number 7, McNeil, playing next to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This is the last couple of games. He's getting shots. The data backs it up. This isn't a channel where I show you a ton of data, but just trust me. The data backs it up. I'll show you data on him later in the week. The The positions are good. The fixtures are good. Everton have just been unlucky. But McNeil, and remember, he takes all set pieces. And what a Sean Dyche teams always do lots of, they score set pieces. He'll be on the bench a lot. He's my 5th midfielder. He's my 8th attacker. But I think McNeil's a fantastic pick on Wildcard because he's just so cheap. So guys, hit that like button, but also thank you all for hitting that subscribe button. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. Do drop a comment and let me know, like, if you're thinking along the same lines, if I'm gone too punty, if your Wildcard team is similar to mine. I'm going to go through a list of players that I really like that aren't in this team at the end of the show. So do not go anywhere, because that list is 5 players that I think could make it into the team, right? So up front, Haaland we don't need to discuss. Let's put him in. But Ollie Watkins is in. Now, many won't be looking at Ollie Watkins. He's 9 million now. He's had a price rise from 8.9 to 9. He's just a very good pick. Like, he's going to get chances. He's going to get goals. We might see him and Duran playing together. There's been some quotes from Emery that allude to the fact that they could even play together. Ollie Watkins is the main man at that football club. Make no doubt about it. And it's Ipswich up next. And even the Man United fixture I like for him. And if we're talking main men at a football club, check out this tweet from Hersler. João Pedro. Main man at Brighton. And he knows it. He absolutely knows it. So with that in mind, we still have João Pedro under 6 million. We still have João Pedro on pens. When he's fit, he'll be a 90-minute man. We've had goals in this season too. João Pedro is still the best budget forward for me. Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's good, Chris Wood, whatever. João Pedro for me is the best of the bunch. So that's my team as things stand. We'll come back to it, but let's go through a list of players that aren't in this team that I really like and could very easily have in. Now, this draft will change, of course. Okay, 5 players. Number 1, Kai Havertz. I have Saka in this team. I could very easily have double Arsenal attack, or I could have Havertz instead and save some money. The slight issue with me with Havertz, and if I go double attack, is the Odegaard injury. Odegaard's out for 8 weeks. Does that make Arsenal a little weaker in attack? I think it does. It could even see Havertz play the Odegaard role, and a Gabby Jesus or a Trossard number 9. Phil Foden. You guys know I love Phil Foden. I could very easily make space for Foden in this team. It probably means no Watkins, though. I can't have Saka, Haaland, Trent, Watkins and Foden in terms of my high-priced players. So let's see if Foden makes his way in as the week goes on. But I'm very tempted. If you've followed me for the last few seasons, you won't find a content creator that's a bigger fanboy of Phil Foden in terms of FPL. I've had him a lot. Robertson is another one. Are we sleeping on the Liverpool defence by just having Trent? Are they that good? They might be under slot, you know. We have to picture Liverpool as very different to the Liverpool we remember under Jurgen Klopp, when they were so end-to-end that they conceded a lot. Well, this Liverpool team has control, and we've seen a lot of clean sheets already this season, haven't we? Was it 4 in 5 from Liverpool clean sheets? Robertson gets you some upside. He's firmly on my mind. Eze is another, just as a long-term good pick that will clock up assists. We know he's going to not be on pens, but share pens with Mateta. I'm fine with that. And then the 5th pick, again, it's a budget midfielder. We just need to know he's nailed. Because at the moment, Garnacho is very good, and every time he plays, there seems to be chances and goals and hitting the bar. But is he nailed? Because Rashford, Diallo, Garnacho, it looks like only 2 of 3 will start. And guessing those 2 is really difficult, right? We've seen Garnacho missing out, but then game week 5 against Palace, Garnacho starts. And it was Rashford that missed out. I wouldn't be surprised if Ahmad misses out next time, and it's just so difficult to predict the expected starts there. But they are 5 players I really, really like. Of course, Liverpool attack is on my mind. Could I punt on a Luis Diaz or a Jota, or am I worried about rotation? And I think that's covering pretty much all my main bases. So look, we can go back to my team and have a look at it. Would I be surprised if Watkins comes out and Foden comes in? No. Would I be surprised if I can squeeze a Robertson in instead of, I don't know, a Lewis or a Pinnock? Maybe. It is worth noting both Moreno and Pinnock rotate really nicely. Could I go Garnacho instead of Sancho? Absolutely could. So if you've enjoyed the show, if you like this team, hit those buttons on the way out, and I will see you again very, very soon for another video. Bye-bye.